Hello and welcome to Creative Sparkle. My name's Holly and today we're doing an art journal prompt list. So grab your art supplies and let's get crafting. Hello and thank you for joining me today. So working in a normal sketchbook today, I'm just popping masking tape down. The first prompt is to prime the page if needed to prepare for the use of water. So I'm just priming my page with white gesso because these pages aren't thick enough. They're not watercolour paper, so they're not going to be very good at absorbing anything, and the white gesso will stop it bleeding through. So once that's all primed and dried, we'll move on to the next prompt, which is prompt number 2, is to create a resist pattern or add masking over the page. So I've decided to go with transparent texture paste, and I'm going to use this stencil I have here. I'm just going to be popping it through the stencil with a palette knife over the page. So I'm going to do it in several places so the page is pretty much covered and it's got a nice pattern over it. If you decide that you want to use masking tape instead or masking fluid, you could use that. I don't actually have any masking fluid, so I decided to use the texture paste instead, so that was my choice there. So you just use whatever you have available to you. If it's just masking tape you have available, or washi tape for example, pop that down, and if it's removable we will do that later. So prompt number 3 is to add a water-based medium using additional water, so making sure it's plenty wet. And I'm using gelatos, so I've got banana and lemon colours. So I'm just going to go over with the gelatos once it's already sprayed, so they are blending out really nicely, and I'm wearing gloves just because I didn't want to get it all over my hands this time. So once that's the banana colour going down, and then I'll go in with the yellow and blend those in. Your choice could be some sprays that you can water down, or you could use some watercolours if that's what you have available to you. Just have a look in your stash and see what suits the prompt the best. So once we're done with that, we'll move on to prompt number 4, which is to use kitchen roll or tissue to pick up some of the water and the medium. So I did spray a little bit more water just to make sure that it's plenty wet, and then I'm just using that kitchen roll to pick it up. And I did actually decide that it's picked up too much of the colour, so I'm going down with some more of that banana just to darken it up a bit. And you can see that the texture paste has left that white colour coming through, which I'm happy with. So prompt number 5 is to remove, if removable, the masking that you've applied, and then add doodling to the page. So I decided to use chalk pastels, and I'm just using a red colour, and I'm going through the patterns you can see here, just here and there, adding some of that red and blending it through. And then once I'm happy with that in the patterns, I am going to add a couple of lines here and there where the patterns haven't been applied. So your doodling could be drawing around the pattern that you've created, or it could be doing random designs. You could do swirls or scribbles, completely up to you. And once you're happy with that step, we'll move on to prompt number 6, which is to add up to 3 pieces of origami to the page as focal images. So I have 3 pieces of square paper here that I've cut out from some scrapbook paper in my stash, and I'm just following a tutorial that I found online, and they're very easy to come across, so have a look and see what favourable to you. The paper that I've cut out, I did 8 inch by 8 inch, so they're quite large, because normally origami paper is a lot smaller and the finished product can usually fit in the palm of your hand, so I thought make it bigger this time and it will stand out on the page a bit more. So what I'm folding is a bird, a pigeon I think. And once I've finished folding it, I am going to add googly eyes as well. But don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch all 3 of the foldings. I just filmed the one and I did 3 of them, but I chose to only use 2 because the size of them and the colours didn't really fit together, so I'm just using the brown and the blue you can see here to go onto the page. and your origami can be whatever you want it to be. I've chosen birds just because that's what I liked the look of at the time, and that's what I chose. So you could do inanimate objects rather than animals. It's completely up to you, and then once that's done, we'll get them stuck down on the page. So I'm just using normal PVA glue, and then we'll move on to prompt number 7, which is to add something to the page to create a border for your spread. So rather than adding paint or pencil or whatever you normally would add a border with, you could use scrap paper, or I'm using washi tape, as you can see here, and the colours on there match the background, so I'm quite happy with that. And I'm just going to be adding that to the bottom and the top of the page. But if you don't have washi tape, or if that's not what you want to use, then just make sure it's something that you're adding, like paper or glitter or whatever you feel is appropriate for your page. So once that border's added, we'll move on to prompt number 8, and it's on a separate piece of paper, create a title with collage elements. So I got 2 pieces of paper rather than just the one, and I'm using the same colours as the birds, so I'm just going to stick those together so there's a nice little frame. And to use the collage elements, I went through magazines and found words that would fit together to make a title. So I'm just sticking them down. I've cut the words out of the magazine and I'm sticking them down on this piece of paper to add to the page as my title. I originally planned to use a stamp set, but I decided against it because I thought the collage elements would have been more applicable to the magazine cutout. So the title that I've chosen says, "How far can you fly?" The word fly is going to be different to the other ones because that's just how it came about, I guess. I didn't know what the title was going to be when I was choosing the words, so that's what I came up with in the end. So after that's done, we'll move on to prompt number 9, which is to outline or frame or border around your title if you've not done it already. So don't feel like you have to do anything if you've already done something for this. As you can see, I already have a border around my title because I have that brown border for the blue background. But I decided to go in with a fine liner pen and go around the words, so just to bring those out a little bit more. And that's not something that you have to do, so don't worry if you've already got a border. So the final prompt is prompt number 10, so add some small details to finish the page. So again, I've chosen the same coloured papers because I wanted it to be more cohesive, and I used a punch that you could see that I just showed you, and it's a leaf punch, so I thought it fit quite well. And I'm just going to stick those randomly over the page just so it looks like they're flying through the sky with leaves with them as well. So that is the final prompt, and I hope you enjoyed today's page. If you did enjoy it, please do give this video a thumbs up and share it, and don't forget to subscribe for the next time. And if you did decide to take part in the prompt list, please do tag me on Instagram with the hashtag Sparkle Prompts. I would love to see your creations. So I will see you next time, where we will turn your creative spark into creative sparkle. Thanks. Bye.